All right, go ahead. Good. So these are the remaining palpations minus 1. I forgot to teach everybody in lab the palpation for the first carpometacarpal joint. That means that on your midterm, I will not test you on the carpometacarpal joint palpation. However, after midterm, I will show it to you, and it will be your responsibility on the final. So we'll start with the styloid process of the radius. So in anatomical position, remember the radius is lateral, ulna is medial, and the styloid process of the radius, so you can zoom in if you need to, is more lateral than the styloid process of the ulna. So if you look at the wrist here, the styloid process of the radius versus the ulna are in quite different places. Okay? I'm rolling over your tendon, sorry about that. All right, feel a little, so she has a little cartilaginous disc right there. Everybody does, but hers is a little floaty. All right, that doesn't mean anything is wrong, just the way it is. Okay, so styloid process of the radius, styloid process of the ulna. That's 2. The next one is the olecranon process. This is the easiest one, right? So this is the one you hope you get. Easier to find in flexion of the humeral ulnar joint. That's the olecranon. Okay, so the olecranon. We already did the styloid process of the ulna. The next palpations are the carpal bones. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in if you would like, so that you can see. So I'm going to start with the third metacarpal, and remember the third metacarpal is the metacarpal that the third digit extends from. So I'm going to find the metacarpal. The knuckle, your knucks, that is the metacarpophalangeal joint. This would be the third MCP, or third metacarpophalangeal joint. That's the head of the metacarpal. The base is the part of the metacarpal that articulates with the carpal bone. The third metacarpal articulates with capitate. So you'll follow the third metacarpal till you find that void. And when you find the void, remember that that void exists because capitate is slightly posterior to scaphoid and lunate. So you follow the metacarpal into the void. So once you hit the void, you passively flex the wrist of your patient or your peer or your instructor, and capitate becomes prominent and you can feel it. All right, to find lunate, remember I leave my thumb where capitate lives because I don't want to get confused and be in the wrong place. So here is her ulnar styloid. In my head, I imagine a line that connects where my thumb is over capitate and the ulnar styloid. When I do that, I'm going to put my thumb in the middle of that line, and in the middle of that line there is a smaller void than the capitate void. Flex and you will feel lunate. Lunate rolls forward into that void just like capitate rolls forward into this void. So there's capitate and lunate. And remember, the salient sign or your verification test is flexion of the wrist for both of those. Same rules apply on the lab skills exam. If you do the palpation correctly on the first try and do the salient sign, you will get full credit. If you need cues, then you lose points on your technique. If you get the structure on the first try, 3 points. If you need cues to get the structure, the second try it's 1.5 points, and after that, fewer and fewer. Okay. So now the palmar aspect of the hand. That's not the right. Can you give me that little right hand? Let's do this. So the palmar aspect of the hand, look at there. All right. On the ulnar side, pisiform sits right on top of triquetrum, and then scaphoid and lunate are, so scaphoid more radial, lunate kind of in the middle. So scaphoid, lunate, pisiform, and triquetrum. So You've already palpated capitate and lunate. Pisiform is going to be right at the most proximal aspect of the hand, and it feels a little bigger than a marble. No, than a BB. It's a little bigger than a BB, smaller than a marble, but very round. If I find pisiform, I'm going to follow pisiform and drop off onto that ulnar side of the wrist. Relax your arm, because I gotcha. And at that point, I'm going to radially deviate and ulnar deviate, and you will feel triquetrum move into your finger with radial deviation. Okay, so that's pisiform and triquetrum. Believe now we have the muscles. So we did scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform, capitate, third metacarpal.
I think you skipped scaphoid.
I skipped scaphoid.
Scaphoid's because it's so easy.
So if your partner's wrist is an extension, it's the large bone on the radial side, right there. If you are too far radial, you are going to be on trapezium. So you have to make sure that you're not on anything that moves, that is the thumb, right? So if I move the metacarpal of the thumb, I have to be medial to that, or more ulnar to that. That's scaphoid. Yeah, see it? Okay, so brachioradialis is 12-ounce curls. All right. So I know that, what's its origin? Anybody got origin of brachioradialis? Lateral epicondyle of the humerus. It's not the supracondylar ridge, lateral supracondylar ridge.
I think it's upper 2/3 of the supracondylar ridge.
Upper 2/3 of the lateral supracondylar ridge. So that is, I'll show you on the skeleton, here. So it doesn't actually go right to the epicondyle. It's on that supracondylar ridge. And where does it insert? The radial styloid process. So if it starts at the supracondylar ridge of the humerus, the lateral supracondylar ridge, and ends on the radial styloid, what joint can brachioradialis move? The ulnar humeral. Humeral, ulnar, or ulnar humeral. I will accept both. Can it move the wrist? No, because it doesn't cross the wrist. All right. So this one, in neutral, what I want to do is say, don't let me move you. So hold right there, don't let me move you. And then brachioradialis pops up right, the muscle belly of it pops up right distal to the humeral ulnar joint. So that is brachioradialis. Please remember that you don't have to muscle us to do this. You just need the muscle to contract, right? So if I just go ahead and relax, you're ready to roll, right? So don't let me move you. And you can see it almost immediately. And I'm not pushing hard. You don't need a maximal contraction to palpate that muscle. So there's brachioradialis. Common wrist flexor group. Origin.
Medial
epicondyle of the humerus. Yeah, this is medial epicondyle. So the common wrist flexor group, origin is the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Okay. So if it's a wrist flexor group I'm looking for, what motion do I need to use to verify the muscle is contracting? Wrist flexion, right? So go ahead and just flex, yep. And you can see the muscles start to contract. One more time, and this is the muscle belly of the common wrist flexor group. You can relax your hand. And what I've done is just palpate the boundaries. I am not squeezing her muscles. I am just using my fingers to identify the boundary. Okay. Wrist extensor group. So now I want you to act like you're playing piano, right? So if she's playing piano, I am already able to orient myself to where that common wrist extensor group might be, because those are also the common finger extensors. So go ahead and relax. All right, now can you move your whole wrist? And back down, and again. And here is the common wrist extensor muscle belly. Okay, you can relax. All right, so that's how you palpate that. Extensor, common wrist flexor, pronator teres, and supinator. So pronator teres, right medial epicondyle, pronator teres. What's next? Flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. All right. So if pronator teres is here, I'm going to relax the muscles. Go ahead and relax. And palpate first. So what I do that I haven't verbalized is I palpate opposite the direction that the fibers go. So when I palpate, I want to feel if I can feel that muscle belly, and it's easier for me to find if I'm perpendicular to the direction of the fibers. Okay. And then what direction do I need to provide movement for her to contract pronator teres? If I say, don't let me move you.
Against pronation.
Yeah, so I need to move her into supination, because if I say, don't let me move you, she's gonna pull back into pronation, right? So don't let me move you, and relax. Don't let me move you, and relax. And there's her pronator teres. Okay. Pronator teres. Supinator. So you can find the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. If you find the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, let's look at the skeleton here. In relation to the lateral epicondyle, all I have to do is move slightly anterior if the elbow is in flexion, and I'm on the head of the radius. Supinator is going to be just distal to the head of the radius on the radius. So that's what I do. I find that lateral epicondyle, and then right here is the head of her radius. So I can go ahead and relax. Oh, you have a hard time relaxing. You need a massage. Do you like massages? Probably not.
It's like someone close to me giving it to me, but not
Yeah,
really
so
strange.
folks that have a hard time relaxing don't tend to want to sign up for massages. That seems to be a generalization I can make quite confidently. All right, so then I'm going to put my fingers on the radius. And which direction do I need to move her forearm? Pronation. So don't let me move you. Oh, you're doing it. Sorry, don't let me. So don't let me move you, and relax. Don't let me move you. There you go. And you'll feel supinator contract. And remember, this is a finesse move. This isn't muscling. You just need to feel the muscle twitch. You don't need a maximal like bodybuilding contraction to feel supinator. Okay, that's it. Thank you.